Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
Happening right now, a retrial is underway for the former headmaster at the Army-Navy Academy accused of sexually assaulting a student nearly 20 years ago. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Virginia Cha. 10 News reporter Mimi Akala joining us now live from Vista, where former students are testifying. Mimi?
Virginia, Jason, that trial is going on right now on that third floor here at the Vista Courthouse, and it could last all month long. It includes testimony from different students from different states who all say that Jeffrey Barton sexually abused them. Prosecutors are retrying Jeffrey Barton on 11 counts of molestation. He sat in the courtroom this morning appearing to jot down notes. The prosecutor says he repeatedly molested a cadet at the Army-Navy Academy in Carlsbad from 1999 to 2001. A year and a half ago, jurors deadlocked on those charges, but Barton was acquitted of abusing other cadets. Prosecutors say the former cadet will testify about that repeated abuse. The defense attorney says he waited years before accusing Barton, questioning the alleged victim's credibility. Additional accusers are also testifying during this retrial. Barton hasn't been formally charged with assaulting them, but their testimony could be supporting evidence for the jury. One of the accusers, a former student from Tennessee, took the stand this morning. He says Barton allowed him and a friend to go on a trip to Atlanta to watch a hockey game back in 1993. But he says it wasn't a school-sanctioned trip. He says they went to a hotel room, and that's when he woke up to Barton molesting him. He says he turned around and tried to ignore the situation, then it happened again.
You feel weak and that you should have been able to stop it, and there's no reason why you should have been able to do it. And I didn't want anybody to think that I allowed it to happen twice. Sorry.
If Barton is convicted, he faces up to 88 years in prison. We're live in Vista. Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
And a breaking news update, police are looking for the suspect in a carjacking that happened in Otay Mesa. This happened on Piper Ranch Road at 6:30 this morning. And the driver is hurt. We are looking into how badly that driver was hurt. An SDPD robbery unit is on scene, and police are still piecing together exactly what happened. They say they're looking for a bald Hispanic man, about 5'10", wearing a black sweatshirt and jeans.
New today, a chaotic pileup on the Yates. Several cars just slamming into each other. Witnesses trying to help people get to safety. Then an ambulance heading to the scene also crashed into one of the cars. See the damage here to the right headlight? And as paramedics rushed to help people, a car slammed right into their gurney and knocked it over. This all started when an SUV broke down in the right-hand lane. A few men were trying to help push it out of the way when a black Chrysler slammed into the back of the SUV. Then the ambulance hit some of the debris on the freeway, which in turn hit one of the crashed cars. Witnesses said it was absolutely chaos for several minutes.
I was trying to get everybody to get up to, higher ground, because the cars, it was about 20 cars that went by swerving within like a 3-minute period. And eventually one of them hit the car.
2 people were hurt. One of them had moderate injuries and had to go to the hospital.
Bad news back at Coast in Imperial Beach there. The shoreline remains closed today after the rain over the weekend pushed Baja sewage right back into the area. Sewage runoff from the Tijuana River has been making its way into the ocean once again. Beaches south of the border have been closed all weekend, and the closures were expanded to our beaches yesterday when the Department of Environmental Health feared that the sewage had spread. No word on when they will reopen. And new information about discolored water in the South Bay, and it's raising some concerns. Several 10 News viewers had told us their water is yellowish brown in color. The Sweetwater Authority tells us the water is safe to drink. They say the strange color is due to a mineral found in the Sweetwater Reservoir that it's reacting to in the water treatment process. They say they are working to get rid of this strange color. So happening right now, a memorial statue of San Diego's own legendary star, Tony Gwynn, being unveiled in Poway.
Yep, they just unveiled it. 10 News reporter Jim Patton joins us live from Lake Poway Park. Jim, what a special day for fans and Tony Gwynn's family.
Oh, Virginia, absolutely. And there are, I estimate, about 600 to 800 people out here. They said we'll get at least 200. They've gotten far more than that. And we can finally show you the statue. It was unveiled literally just moments ago. This 11-foot-high statue of Tony Gwynn holding his daughter Alicia. At the time she was 4 or 5 years old, him tipping his hat to the crowd. everybody seemed to be awestruck when it was first unveiled. And we talked to folks as they were coming in. There were a number of dignitaries here, of course, Tony Gwynn's family, Dick Enberg, famed Hall of Fame broadcaster, and Tony's widow also caught her as she was coming in. Here's what she had to say.
I have not, and I can't wait to see it. I have not seen it.
Yeah, that was her initial reaction. If you can believe that, the family had not been allowed to see, or I shouldn't say if they had been allowed, but she in particular had not seen the statue. She said the family had not seen it. So this was an unveiling for them. I'm anxious to talk to her and get her reaction, though I think it's going to be positive. And here's what else she had to say just about the memorial in general.
You know, Tony was all about family, and he and Anisha were very, very close. So it's so fitting, so fitting.
It's an appropriate tribute to the man because that's what he was, a good guy, a good husband, a good member of the community, a fine neighbor. He was all the things that we would want the next door person to be where we live, right? Wouldn't it be nice to have Tony Gwynn's next door?
Now, Anisha, who is depicted as a little girl on the statue, also spoke to the crowd. She said that this piece defines for her what she learned so much about family from her father. So far from what we can tell, just absolutely rave reviews, and you can see for yourself it is a gorgeous statue. We're out here. We're going to talk to some more folks, get some reaction out here. For now, reporting live in Poway, Jim Patton, 10 News.
Oh, Jim, love the combination of baseball star and family, man. Thanks so much. Now to this developing story. Today, Washington is reacting to former acting Attorney General Sally Yates' explosive testimony on Capitol Hill. ABC's Lana Zach shows us the response to what Yates has said.
We felt like it was critical that we get this information to the White House.
Despite an urgent warning by former acting Attorney General Sally Yates, Michael Flynn continued to serve as National Security Advisor for a full 18 days after she warned the White House that he could be in, quote, a compromised situation.
In a situation where the National Security Advisor essentially could be blackmailed by the Russians.
Yates testified that she knew Flynn was not being honest with the Trump administration.
Because the vice president was unknowingly making false statements to the public, and because we believed that General Flynn was compromised with respect to the Russians.
Yates herself was fired by President Trump for her opposition to the president's travel ban, and she was asked about that as well.
All I can say is that I did my job the best way I knew how.
While Yates was dismissed, Flynn continued to serve, even joining a call between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. This despite warnings by President Obama to President-elect Trump back in November. Some questioning today the vetting process that allowed Flynn to have top-level security clearance. DHS Secretary John Kelly describing his tough vetting on Fox.
It's the most excruciating experience of my life, anything and everything. And then they checked at the FBI. So I think the process, I can't imagine how much tighter it could possibly be.
Following that testimony, the president tweeted that the Russia-Trump collusion story is a, quote, total hoax. But we also heard testimony from NSA Director Admiral Mike Rogers today in front of the Senate, who said that they were able to determine that Russia also tried to interfere in the French election. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
And here in the 10 News Live Center, I'm following breaking news. A fire burning right now in Florida. These are live pictures here in New Smyrna Beach. This is south of Daytona Beach. You take this picture full and you can see what firefighters are having to deal with right now. Our affiliate says this is burning near a heavily wooded area. This started as a brush fire and then spread to the railroad ties. There are several crews in the area, but we see the flames still very active. Lots of black smoke. So Virginia, Jason, they are still a long way from getting this under control. I'll continue to monitor this here in the 10 News Live Center.
All right, thank you, Mel. Some new details here. President Trump considering sending more troops to Afghanistan. Military leaders expected to propose 3,000 to 5,000 additional U.S. troops to accelerate training missions for Afghan forces. Sources say the Pentagon is also talking about plans to scale up strikes against the Taliban. The president will talk about the increase this week. Not clear when he will make a formal decision.
New today, the San Diego-based USS Lake Champlain has collided with a South Korean fishing ship in the Sea of Japan. The guided missile cruiser was conducting routine operations when the ships collided. So now the U.S. Navy and the South Korean Coast Guard are launching an investigation into exactly what happened here. Nobody was injured, but the Navy is assessing the situation to the ships.